Dot, 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 dot. Good morning, everybody. This is Grant from State of the Spark, and I love today's topic, and I hope you're going to love it too. We're actually going to talk about how manifestation fails. If you've ever heard about people talking about manifestation or the secret or how you can actually manifest the life you want, these are broad terms we use for an actual practical mechanism that a lot of you are overlooking and how ignoring it could cause you to fail your manifestation. But the good news is we're also going to cover how to spin it so that manifestation can actually work on your behalf. And what actually is manifestation? Is it money bags falling out of the sky? Not hardly. It's a function of your brain. And we're actually going to talk about how to wield that for your success. But before that, we're going to talk about how wolves and saving wolves actually cleans water and what a keystone species is. And we're going to talk briefly about a nod toward hoarders. Hoarders sometimes get it right, as evidenced by this Renaissance piece, 300 years old, bought at a garage sale. But before all of that, you know what we're going to do. Morning cup of gratitude. What are you grateful for this morning? Grab your morning cup of joe. Grab your coffee, because we're going to kick this week off, this productive, lovely, fun, gorgeous, successful week. We're going to kick it off with a morning cup of gratitude, and we're going to share what we're grateful for. And you know I'm going to start, but I want to hear in the comments below what you're grateful for. Go ahead and share below as we talk a little bit so we can feature your heart of gratitude. And I'll start, of course. I tell you what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that I am on day 9. I think it's 9 of 75 hard. We have been pushing hard. I work out twice a day. I'm doing a couch to 5K in the morning. We're on week 4, workout number, whatever. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling stronger all the time. Less phlegmy. I've got way less phlegm, which is awesome. In fact, by less phlegm, I mean none at this point. But I was before this, waking up with some phlegm. It was nasty. And I'm grateful for the ability to choose fresh each day. I've chosen the lifestyle I have. Didn't chase a particular job or career, chased entrepreneurship, chased world travel, chased missionary work, chased the arts, chased influencing other people, chased training other people for the main goal, of impacting people, but the secondary goal of being able to wake each day with the joy of choice. I have choices today, and I'm empowered by that. That's what I'm grateful for. What are you grateful for? Tell me in the comments. Let me know what makes you pumped. Let me know what makes you happy. Let me know what you're grateful for in the comments below. Let's talk about other news. In other news, I like to cover news that actually makes you smarter, that isn't just regurgitating what mainstream media wants you to focus on, but actually adds to your body of knowledge, makes you smarter, makes you more focused. Let's talk about a nod to hoarders and the Renaissance piece hidden at a garage sale. In 2017, Clifford Schorer, a Boston art collector, was on his way to an art gala. And on his way, it dawned on him that, oh my gosh, I forgot to bring a gift to this art event. So, of course, he wanted to stop by a rare collectible place for a gift to bring to this art collection. And when he got there, he purchased a piece, but then the attendant said, hey, I've got a friend who bought a sketch at a yard sale in 2017 for $30, but I want you to look at it because it looks kind of serious. And of course, this art collector, Clifford Schorer, never one to turn down an opportunity to prove how smart he was in the area of art collection, said, sure, I'll check it out. Now, over the following weeks, it began to become clear that this $30 sketch found at a garage sale was actually by none other than German Renaissance artist Albrecht Dürer, who died in 1528. The piece came to be known as Virgin and Child, a sketch that's valued at, guess it, I'll give you 3 seconds to guess the value of this piece. That's right, $10 million. Now, in a nod to the hoarder that kept this in their garage sale, thanks for keeping such priceless piece of art around, but shame on you for not benefiting from that yourself. If you want to read more about how, if you just had an attentive mind and an active subconscious brain to make you aware of things, boom, there's the link in the comments below on how you too if you were only attentive to such things, could find a rare sketch that is now, I think it was actually 450 years old. Actually, I said 300 years earlier. 450-year-old sketch found and preserved at a garage sale and valued, bought for $30, valued at $10 million. Let's talk about how protecting gray wolves can actually create cleaner water. It is a common idea from modern indigenous people to say things like, before the European man came, we used to drink from our water here, and we were fine with it. And since modernization, that has not become the case. Well, in a related thing, in the Trump era, at one point, they passed a law that allowed people to hunt gray wolves. They basically removed gray wolves from the endangered species list, and in about 3 days, specifically in Wyoming, in a particularly gruesome case in Wyoming, over 215 gray wolves were killed in under 3 days. This was double the quota allowed in the state of Wyoming. Now, the law was lifted, so this was technically legal at the time, but it was a shame. And as we saw the gray wolf population dwindle immediately from February 2021 and on, local people started to get very concerned, specifically the local indigenous tribe of the Ojibwe. And the Ojibwe, I'm probably saying the name wrong, so please forgive me. They ultimately ended up suing the state and suing some of the local leaders and pushing for an effort to replace gray wolves on the endangered species list. Well, and good news, they were re-added. In fact, a federal judge just recently rolled back and added the protections of putting the gray wolf back on the endangered species list. Now, this is great for the gray wolf. We're going to see gray wolf populations return. We're going to see that it balances things out. But why would the indigenous tribe be so focused on it? Well, the leaders of the indigenous tribe saw the interconnectedness of an apex mammal predator species, such as the gray wolf. We also see this with lions. We also see this with jaguars and panthers. These are what are known as keystone species. No, we're not talking about any particular national park. We're talking about in the area of ecosystems. And keystone species are often predatorial, and they're often at the top of the predator chain. Tiger sharks, wolves, jaguars, lions. And we often give these species a bad rap. They're hunters. They're terrifying. You don't want to meet one in the dark when it's hungry and you're unprotected, that's for sure. But why do we like and need more gray wolves? Why do we need more tiger sharks? Why do we need more lions? We need these animals because they're keystone species. And if you look this up, keystone species are species on which other species in an ecosystem depend, even though the gray wolf hunts, say, for example, caribou or deer. That caribou or deer actually depend on the wolf to keep their numbers balanced. And usually the predator at the top of the ecosystem keeps the rest of the ecosystem in balance. A keystone species is such that if it were removed from the ecosystem, it would change dramatically. What they have noticed is that as you reduce keystone species from any given ecosystem, it actually trickles down not only to their prey, but then also to their prey in symbiotic species, oftentimes grazing animals. They won't be grazing as much, or they'll be grazing more and over-consuming their environment, and things get out of balance. So much so that they actually track the fact that water became more polluted. It trickles down through the entire ecosystem down to the point where the water became more polluted. Yet as they reintroduced gray wolves into a species, they found that the water purity went up. There is a direct correlation to preserving healthy ecosystems down to the point where removing or adding a predator can affect water quality and drinkability. Bet you didn't know that. That is what a keystone species is. Let's talk about manifesting and manifesting your goals and why manifestation often fails and how to actually manifest correctly. Let's talk about it. So recently, I and a group of friends have re-kicked off the Spark Training and Spark Training workshops. And we're building towards spring workshops, specifically a marketing workshop. We're going to train small business owners how they too can improve their marketing and their messaging and actually get their marketing under control. Well, one of the things we were discussing is how do we market our marketing workshop. And one of the strategies where we should be on podcasts more. I do this show quite regularly. We've got a good platform in Discord and in Facebook, and we're all over the place. And we should then start being guests on podcasts. So we put it out there, and I quickly forgot it. I quickly didn't think about it. I quickly got into the busyness of creating the workshop, the busyness of our website company, the busyness of our partnership in the billing company, the busyness of my relationship with my wife and managing our empire and our real estate investments. And very quickly, it wasn't even on my radar. Yet in a period of about 3 days, I received 4 contacts out of the blue. One was a coach in Winter Haven that asked me to be on her podcast. Another was a person whose podcast I'd been on before here who has quite a large audience, and I love being on the podcast with this gentleman. Another was an invitation to speak on a panel in front of a bunch of entrepreneurs. And completely unrelated, another day later, a person reached out and said, hey, I remember that you used to do workshops. Do you want to partner? And I would love to help facilitate some of those workshops. Now, telling you this story, it's obvious how all of these things are connected. But in each of these individual situations, the moment that the message or the request or the phone call came through, I was busy. I was busy doing housework. I was busy balancing our budget. I was busy paying out profits to their profit share partners. I was busy balancing the budget, planning our marketing. Good morning, Austin Invests. Boom, dropping by. What are you investing in today, Austin? Let us know. So back to the story, each time one of these moments that someone actually showed up and reached out for this thing I had put intentionality to, I was in another state of mind. I wasn't even thinking. And so my life had gotten busy, and I did not respond immediately to each of these requests. Life is really busy. And then later in the afternoon or later in the evening, after these requests to be a guest on their podcast or to be a guest on the panel or to share the stage on one of their workshops, at each of these requests come up, my life was busy. I thought about each one later that evening because I tend to reflect on the day, and I started thinking about it. And I said, well, I got this invite to be on this person's podcast. I don't have anything to talk about. What do you mean I don't have anything to talk about? Now, again, in retelling the story right now, it's like, no, Grant, you could talk about your Patreon account. You could talk about your workshops. You could talk about your new book. You could talk about so much. But my life was busy, and I wasn't in the frame of mind. So when I thought about the one coach asking me to be on her podcast, I thought, I don't know. I don't have anything to talk about. When I thought about the person who invited me back on a show, I was like, man, I got to come up with a whole set of material. But as I was ruminating on these random series of requests, they were completely unconnected to me. It suddenly dawned on me, wait a minute. I've been putting out this intentionality for several days now, and nearly instantly, these opportunities came. And I don't want to focus on the manifestation of these opportunities because it's not manifestation. There's something very practical means behind it. What I want to focus on is how distracted I got and how close I was to self-sabotaging these opportunities. I was close because I was too focused and myopic on the busyness of the day. I was too focused and myopic on, what would I say? I don't want to sound too salesy and I don't know what to talk about. And then some voice came up from the back of my brain and said, hey, remember that thing you were talking about with podcasting? This voice cut through all of that noise. And I said, oh, this was the opportunities I was hoping for. These are the moments that I was searching for. And that is the moment manifestation works. Manifestation fails when you don't have that inner voice pulling up from the subconscious brain, perking up at the right moment. We have alarm clocks to tell us to wake up at 3 a.m. to get our morning run in before everything else we need to do and prepare for our show. We have alarms on our Google Calendar to tell us when it's time to go to the gym and when it's time to take our sales appointments. But what we don't have is an alarm clock to tell us, hey, that person talking about that one opportunity that you wanted and they're guiding it towards you. We don't have a personal assistant or an inner voice or a good enough algorithm yet that actually reminds us in the moment of the thing that connects to that. What we call manifestation is simply the act of connecting a desire we've been floating to the world to the moment and the opportunities that present themselves all the time anyway, or in response to the fact that you might have put out intentionality earlier in the week or earlier in the month or earlier in the year. That is why manifestation fails. So what we're going to talk about briefly today is how faith works. Now, this is a 2-for-1 because if you woke up this morning and saw the show, you're going to learn how manifestation works, but you're also going to learn how faith works. And what is faith in this little show? That's some serious value before you head off to work this morning. So this is how faith works, and it's quite simple. When we think of faith, we often think of the fruit of faith or what we have faith in. Quite often, people in religious circles have faith in God. Sometimes people in humanist circles have faith in themselves. People in science have faith in logic or science. So faith there's no religious construct that has a monopoly on faith. And so how does faith work in order to make this generalistic thing we call manifestation work, which is simply an awareness at the right moment? Manifestation is simply this. It's awareness of at the right moment. Cutting through the noise of the busyness of the day, cutting through the noise of the busyness of what other people want for you. Manifestation is simply the act of connecting a thought from the subconscious mind at the moment it pops up in your external world and connecting those dots. So what is faith? Faith is what you do before the opportunity. Faith is what you do before you see the results, right? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. True. But what does that mean for you? Faith is simply this as it pertains to manifestation. Faith is the choice to repeat your goals to yourself and others in spite of reasons to doubt them. I'll say it again. Faith is the choice to repeat your goals to yourself in your quiet time and to others in your public time in spite of reasons to doubt your goals. Think about that for a moment. We all have logic for why something should or shouldn't work. But what do we repeat to ourselves? And why is repeating important to making manifestation work for us? We'll get to that in a second. The choice to, again, faith, if the definition of faith is the choice to repeat your goals to yourself in your private life and in public to others in spite of reasons to doubt it, then it's courageous to have faith. It's cowardly to lack faith. And that choice to act in good faith, to put your goals out to yourself and put your goals out to others, especially when mixed with positive emotions like love, which is why it's so important to have a person, a people group, anchored as to why you want to do something. Why does Marissa want to take people to hike, and why is she planning an Iceland hike? Why do I want to continue with my vision for State of the Spark? Why do I want to continue? There are people behind this that I love, and I mean I love. If you know me, I love the people I serve. I love it, and that's also a magic elixir emotionally because your faith and manifestation, it's brain neurochemicals, and love is a neurochemical. The reason that's so important to mix love of a people group or a person when you think about your goals is so that you make the courageous act of acting in faith, which is repeating your goals to yourself in your private time and to others in public. Hang on real quick. Lisa Welsh says, I have faith I will get to my class to teach these women's learn to grow despite the fact my husband took my car keys to work in Ocala this morning. Faith. She's putting it out there. And because she put it out there, because Lisa put this out there, someone might pop up and say, hey, Lisa, borrow my car. Hey, Lisa, what do you got to do? Grab an Uber. What do we got to do? Or how do we get to your husband so we have his keys? How do we switch keys with your husband? She's putting it out there. And the faith is the act of posting it out here and believing that that's going to become a possibility. I know how to help her now. You know how to help her now. Someone message her and offer to give her a ride to wherever her husband is. You know what I'm saying? That is the act of faith. That's the evidence of faith, right? The evidence of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. It hasn't happened yet, but the evidence is that she put it out there. So faith is the choice to repeat your goals to yourself in your private time and to others in your public time in spite of your doubt. And it's so important that you anchor love, you anchor the women. In fact, in this example that Lisa just put out here, she's thinking about the women she's serving. And when you think about the women you're serving and you add love to the mix, that anchors it into your subconscious mind. You want to set this clock in your subconscious mind. When you anchor your desires in your subconscious mind, and this can only be done in the positive, your brain doesn't register negatives. So if you give it a negative, it nullifies the thought like, oh, I'm afraid that I'm going to be poor. All it hears is this poor, or even said another way, I'm fighting my poverty mind. It just hears poverty mind. So it's going to serve you a poverty mind. So faith is repeating your goals to yourself in spite of good reasons to doubt them. When you mix that with a positive emotion like love, it anchors it in your subconscious mind. And this is the alarm clock. This is the alarm clock in your brain. This is the algorithm that says if somebody mentions your goal, if in Marissa's case, she's thinking about this potential trip to Iceland. She's just ruminating on it. It's not a real thing yet. She doesn't want to be held accountable to it, but she's thinking about it. But if someone in her group says, hey, I would love to make a trip there, she wants her subconscious mind to cut through the noise of the workday, to cut through the noise of her commitments to other people in a positive way, and for her to hear it. Quite often it could come up and she could doubt it and dismiss it, like these invitations for me to be on a podcast. So faith, when you act on faith internally, and then you say it to other people, faith is an outbound act. You repeat it to yourself so that you build up some courage. And then you repeat it to others so you build up more courage. But more than that, you've thrown it out into the world, similar to what Lisa Welsh just did. She threw it out into the world. So faith is an outbound act. It's the outbound act of manifestation. It is cause. You've basically initiated in the cause and effect algorithm a cause, and it's positive, it's abundant, and it aligns with your goals. You've repeated it to yourself and repeated it to others in spite of often valid reasons to doubt. So then what comes back to you? Like this mechanism of manifestation. Well, faith is the first part of manifestation. Opportunity is the second. Opportunity is when the world comes back at you and it's inbound. It's these 4 invites I had for people to partner. Oh my gosh, look at this. You got to see this. Since we've been talking about it, Lisa Welsh had a problem, put it out in faith, and in these few moments, transportation has been found not only to get to this class, but another individual is even handling her Bartow delivery. She has deliveries to Bartow and she's a little behind to her class. So that would put her behind to her class in Ocala. So now, in the few minutes that she put it out there, and I'm sure she's hustling on the phone, I'm sure she's texting people, she's putting it out to the world what her hope is. That's faith. And people come back. People answer, well, that's not faith, Grant, that's proactivity. Is not proactivity an act of faith? Let's quit dismissing faith like faith is stupid. Let's quit dismissing manifestation like manifestation is stupid. Yes, proactivity is part of faith. So if in the mechanism of manifestation, if faith is the outbound statement to the world, this is what I'm trying to do, this is what I need help with, then opportunities are the inbound component, just like Lisa has opportunities right now for help. But we're not always attentive the way Lisa is right now. Quite often, we're busy, we can't hear the noise, or we doubt that we're worthy of that response. In the case of these 4 responses I had for panel speaking with other speakers, podcasts, and even having a facilitator for some of my workshops. The opportunities are inbound. They are the effect. If faith is the cause, repeating to myself and repeating to the world, opportunities are the effect. Hey, I was thinking about you about this. Or, hey, someone mentioned to me that you needed this. Do you want to join me? And being able to simply hear from your subconscious mind, piercing the noise of the brain to say, yep, sure. Well, what about your doubts? Doesn't matter. What about all the reasons this won't work? Doesn't matter. I put it out there and this is what I'm going to do. This is how manifestation typically breaks down. It's not in the lack of desire. It's not in the lack of goals. Many people have goals, but they don't manifest them. How is it that many people have goals and don't manifest them? How does manifestation break down in this way? Knowing that this mechanism exists. The manifestation mechanism is I put faith out there, I repeat it to myself, and I repeat it to others. Opportunities generate and come back to me. Opportunities are happening all the time. Manifestation breaks down of whether or not my subconscious mind catches it in the moment for me to say yes to it. I'm either too busy with my doubt. There's no reason this should actually work, so I'm not going to act. I'm not going to give it energy. It's not going to work. Prove it that it works to me, Grant. Well, it's working. The opportunity is there. Are you going to act on it? Or you just can't hear it because you're too busy. Manifestation breaks down because your subconscious inner voice is not loud enough. We were just talking to somebody this weekend, and they were talking about someone's internal voice was too loud. And how many ADHD people can attest that their internal voice is so loud that it's hard to hear their thinking brain. Their intuitive brain is cranking. Their idea brain is cranking, and it's so hard to actually hear your thinking brain. I get it. But I think what the average person in the world needs more of is a louder subconscious voice that pierces the noise of the mundane. This is where manifestation breaks down. Here it is. This is the key. You have not repeated your goals enough with love to yourself and to the world. Now, you might have repeated it to yourself and to the world with doubt. That's not going to get you anywhere. You might have repeated your goals to yourself and to the world with hate and bitterness and doubt and distrust. The world is not up for that. People won't respond to that. If I said, hey, I want to be on people's podcasts, but if I said it like this, I don't know if it's even possible, but it would be great to be on someone's podcast. Someone doesn't want that attitude on their podcast. If I said, man, I cannot wait to be on some people's podcast, you can hear the difference in faith. I believe in myself and I believe in that moment. And as evidenced, I got 4 invites. Manifestation breaks down when we let go of the opportunity because of doubt or busyness of mind, which is the result of our subconscious inner voice is not loud, strong, and loving enough to cut through and say, this is possible. When we avoid the phone call, when the email messages come in and we don't click reply, when the phone call comes through and we don't click answer, when the Facebook message comes through and we don't say, hey, let me get right back to you. When we avoid responsibility, we're often avoiding the opportunity to accomplish our dreams. Hear that again. When we avoid responsibility, we're often avoiding the opportunity to chase our dreams. Bob Proctor, who passed last week, said, often when we dodge responsibility, we are dodging the opportunity to level up. When we are dodging the response to our intentionality. When I set a goal in the manifestation mechanism and I put faith out there by repeating to myself and repeating to others, and then when opportunity comes inbound as an effect and says, hey, how about being on my podcast? Hey, how about we go to Iceland in Marissa's example? How about I need a website, but I don't answer the phone and I don't get proactive and I don't reply to the email. I'm dodging the very opportunity I was praying for. Because I doubted the very seed I planted. This is like planting a seed for corn out there. And as soon as you see a sprout go, I don't think that's a sprout for corn. In fact, I'm not even going to research it. I think it's daisies. I think it's weeds, and I pull it up. That's what doubt is like. You might have a goal, but goal setting doesn't work. Manifesting doesn't work. Why? Do you walk around in doubt? Then you never hear for the positive opportunity, the other part of the electric connection that wants to manifest that thing into the world. So this is where faith loops back in to the manifestation mechanism. If we acted on faith, we would repeat our goals to ourselves all the time in our quiet time. To act on faith, we would then repeat our goals to other people in our public time. This then programs our mind, and if anchored in love or positive emotions of any kind, then this sets our subconscious clock. And in setting our subconscious clock, it's literally like setting an alarm in the morning. It's not a time-based alarm. It will tell us to wake up to opportunity unless we've programmed it to doubt. You can program your subconscious mind to kill an idea. It might be your goal, but if you sow doubt, when your opportunity for your goal comes up, you will respond by killing it. I watch this too often with the people around me who operate in doubt, distrust, logic, rationale. They see a confirmation bias in the world that, oh, I've always wanted to do X, Y, and Z. Here's your opportunity. No, that's not possible. Why not? I just gave you the opportunity. You asked and I gave you the opportunity. No, we can't do that. That'll never happen. But that's your goal, right? Yeah, it's my goal. And I'm giving you that inbound response. I'm giving you the opportunity. Yeah, it's not going to work though. Then what is going on? This is what doubters and faithless people sound like. But the healthier mechanism is say, listen, humbly, I've been challenged in my life, but I got to say, I want X and I'm going to get X. So I'm going to repeat that to myself. And then when we talk to people in love, we say, I'm going to get X. I'm working towards X and I'm full of love. I'm full of hope. I'm full of faith. It's not a feeling you discover. It's a feeling that you sow as seed so that your subconscious mind's going, oh, okay, so we want this thing. So when someone says, hey, let's go to Iceland, or someone says, hey, let's be on my podcast, we think, whoa, this is that opportunity I was looking for. Instead of, no, that won't work because. Now, it's normal. Hear me on this. It's normal to be doubting. The world wants us to doubt so that we settle, so that we become human batteries in the system that we've become used to serving. But I'm here to tell you, your created nature is a nature of godlike creativity. It starts on pen and ink. It starts on paper. One step back, it starts by you writing down that goal in love of who it could benefit and anchor that into your subconscious mind and let the idea feel good. Give yourself permission for the idea, just the potential to feel good. Then grab onto that, reminisce in it, write about it in your journal, not for any reason other than to anchor in the learning, to program the alarm clock for success. It's an alarm clock for success that's not based on time, it's based on topic. When the topic comes up around you that correlates with your goal, you'll emphasize it, you'll talk about it, you'll give it energy. So this is how you act on faith. Number one, repeat your goals to yourself in your quiet time. Number two, repeat your goals in public to others in your public time. Number three, write your goals down in your journal. Number four, and I used to do this every single day, write your goal down every day on its own sticky note or 5x8 card and put it in your pocket. And it should just have your main goal, your big goal that you're trying to manifest on it. So that every time you touch it, you're reminding your subconscious brain, yes, is there magic in the world? Maybe. Yes, is there frequency? Maybe. Yes, is there a magnetic attraction, law of attraction? Maybe. But the most important mechanism is that your subconscious brain, the alarm goes off when the topic comes up in love that, hey, I would love to participate in that opportunity. How can I participate? So that you don't go, ding, ding, ding. Here's the topic of something you love. Oh, let me kill that with doubt. That's not faith. You are literally a fear farmer instead of a faith farmer. And we need to be faith farmers. So number one, write your goals down, say yes to your dreams, and start programming that subconscious alarm clock towards your goals. Number two, repeat it out loud first thing in the morning and last thing at night. Number three, write it on a sticky note or 3x5 card, put it in your pocket and say, I'm going to have this today. Number four, tell yourself in your journal and in your quiet time that you absolutely can. Number five, tell others you meet with that what you're working towards. And number six, when the urge pops up, channel it as a positive emotion. Boom, Billy Weigel. Good morning, my friend. Once again, working on the job and focusing on next steps to grow the passive income streams with real estate and crypto. Hey, if you guys don't follow Billy, you need to. He's got a seriously cool following. He was just demoing. I think he was doing a walkthrough on an investment property that was baller. Great work, Billy. Keep kicking ass, man. We're going to have you on the show soon, I promise. Let's DM me, and we're going to get you on the show. I want to do an interview. I think you're doing great stuff. Listen, this is actually evidence of faith in action. I keep thinking I want to interview great people, and Billy is doing great work as an investor, and he's been popping up as a regular on the live show. And if my brain wasn't thinking, if I was not programming my subconscious mind to grab onto that when I see that and then announce it to the world, I've been telling myself I want to interview great people, and I'm now telling him. That is acting in faith. Now it's up to him to say yes. It's up to my other interviewees to say yes. And then it's up to me to allow my subconscious mind that I've programmed with an abundance to say yes. This is all faith is. This is it. Repeat it to yourself in private, writing it in your journal, writing it on sticky notes, saying it in the mirror, looking yourself in the eyes, and saying it with positivity and love. As cheesy and dumb as that is faith. And then one step further, faith, the next step is telling the world about it. This is what I'm trying to do. Honestly, I don't know, but I hope so. Honestly, I don't know, but I'm working. Look at Billy right here. Look at Billy. Now, he's actually doing it now. But I'm sure what Billy is doing with his real estate investments started with, I don't know, but I'm trying. I don't know, but I hope. I don't know, but I'm working towards it. And just saying that itself is the act of faith. And then someone comes along to Billy and says, hey, I've got this investment property. You want to look at it? Someone like me says, hey, can I get you on the show? Let's talk about your investments and show people how to find you. As it comes to crypto, as it comes to real estate, this is literally the mechanism of creation. Now, a lot of you can be dismissive and say, oh, Grant, isn't that just being proactive? It is being proactive, but it starts with you saying yes to yourself and yes to your goals and getting it programmed in your subconscious mind. Has this been helpful to you? I encourage you, if you jumped in late in the show, go back to the beginning of the section on faith, because I think you're going to find a lot of riches as you get into your week. Thank you for the like. Jennifer, I hope you're doing great this morning. Thanks so much. Share with a friend. If this is valuable to you, like or subscribe, follow the show, but share it with somebody who's been dealing with doubt. Share the show with someone who's been dealing with a bit of faithlessness, because I want to encourage them. This is not magic. This is a pragmatic way to program your subconscious clock to wake up not at a time, but on topic when someone brings up something that you've been seeding into your brain in terms of goal setting and what you want to accomplish next. Boom. And Billy, this is it. I put it out there. Billy comes back to me. This is the round robin of positive energy. Billy says, I'm in 100%, always willing to help, always need to surround yourself with people who are bigger, stronger, faster. We're all going to make it. Boom. Same with me, Billy. You're bigger, stronger, faster as it comes to real estate. I want to learn from you, my brother. So let me tell you something, folks. I hope you got something out of today. And I want you to remember, State of the Spark is not, boom, here we go. State of the Spark is not just about money. It's about financial freedom. It's about time freedom. It's about location freedom. But why? Because first and foremost, it's about igniting lives of explosive significance, starting with your own. Have an amazing, amazing